Now, what does the Old Testament say about homosexuality? Let's go back to Leviticus 18. We saw the transgender part, but what about homosexuality itself? Go back to Leviticus 18. And again, the Word of God is clear. Verse 22. Leviticus 18:22. You shall not lie with a male as one lies with a female. It is an abomination. That is not confusing. That is as clear as it can be. In fact, it's right alongside another abomination. Verse 23, you shall not have intercourse with any animal to be defiled with it, nor shall any woman stand before an animal to mate with it. It is a perversion. Homosexual sex is, in God's eyes, just a perversion like bestiality. Verse 24 then of Leviticus 18, do not defile yourselves by any of these things. And here's some history. For by all these, the nations which I'm casting out before you have become defiled. All the nations around you are into bestiality and homosexuality. They're all into it. And that's how they became defiled. For the land has become defiled. Therefore I have brought its punishment upon it. So the land has spewed out its inhabitants. Israel is going to the land of Canaan. And the question comes up, why did God allow Israel to take over the land of Canaan? Because God was punishing the people who were in Canaan for this kind of behavior. God's judgment had come on them. Part of that judgment was Israel, his people, taking over the land that they had defiled. The land has become defiled. Therefore I have brought its punishment upon it, so the land has spewed out its inhabitants. And then God says to Israel, but as for you, you are to keep my statutes and my judgments and shall not do any of these abominations. Neither the native nor the alien who sojourns among you. You're not to allow bestiality. You're not to allow homosexuality at all. And he reminds them in verse 27, for the men of the land who have been before you have done all these abominations, and the land has been defiled. Parenthetically. And then in verse 28, so that the land will not spew you out, should you defile it, as it has spewed out the nation which has been before you. Look, you're going to have the same exact problem if you behave in that exact way. What happened to the previous nations is going to happen to you. Verse 29, whoever does any of these abominations, those persons who do so shall be cut off from among their people. Capital punishment. Capital punishment. Why? Verse 30, thus you are to keep my charge or my command that you do not practice any of the abominable customs which have been practiced before you, so as not to defile yourselves with them. I am the Lord your God. And then in chapter 19, verse 2, you shall be holy, for I, the Lord, am holy. And then he says it in verse 3, I am the Lord your God. And verse 4, I am the Lord your God. And verse 10, I am the Lord your God. You can't treat me that way, or you're going to end up like everybody else before you. It is an abomination. And he repeats all through the next chapter, I am the Lord your God. I am the Lord your God. You're insulting me if you do these things. And by the way, in chapter 20 and verse 13, we have the penalty for that behavior of homosexuality. If there is a man who lies with a male as those who lie with a woman, both of them have committed a detestable act. They shall surely be put to death. Capital punishment for homosexuality. So destructive, so devastating to personal identity, God's design, family, society. Homosexual life is defiling, always brings divine wrath. You will not escape it. You will not. And the penalty is death. That's God's protection on his people from the damage that is done to a society by homosexual behavior.